All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 5. We are just rocking along, even though it's about 300 episodes behind the scenes. I am Supreme King, and I am joined by my co-hosts.
It's your boy Omasis.
How you doing today, sir? It sounds like you just crashed into something. I don't know what that
Yeah, I
was.
definitely just dropped something. That's the joys of having a cat.
You dropped the cat? Now you just got us.
No.
We're canceled already. We didn't even get started yet. We're canceled. But yes, we'll be okay. I think we should start off with the footage that we just got done watching. We'll talk about this first before we talk about the big game, the game everybody wants to talk about. So first, we just got done watching the RoboCop first-person shooter game. We watched the trailer. How did you like the trailer?
I thought the trailer looked good. City looked great. Looks like a fun game.
Yeah, it looked a little nostalgic for me. Like, I think they got his face, like, towards the end of the trailer. They got that very well. That was based on the actor from, like, the 80s or the 90s. I think it was the 80s. Like, that movie is old.
Yeah.
And I've seen all of them. My favorite one was the second one where they had, like, them big machines and stuff he was shooting at, and he couldn't really kill it at first or whatever. Like, it was hard to shoot. But I think the game that I saw, it kind of looks mid. I'll admit it. It looks a little mid. It looks
So what
like
you're telling me is that this is gonna be Game of the Year 2023, right?
I mean, it might be nostalgia of the year. I'll give them nostalgia. No, I can't even give them that. That's the Ninja Turtles. So I don't know. But it looked like if you took the name RoboCop off of it, you took the RoboCop like cutscenes away, that you kind of just have a shooter again that didn't really look like it was as polished as the shooters we're known to playing now, like Destiny, Call of Duty, those type of things. Now I think that because it is RoboCop, if they respected the franchise, I would play it eventually. I don't know if I would want to get it day one though. But I would definitely play it eventually.
Day one buy.
It's a day one buy for you.
Nah. Like, so here's the thing. And it sounds like it's supposed to be like a pun, and it's not. But it like the gameplay did look a bit robotic, but like not in like an intentional way. I don't mean to do it for the pun, but it's the best way to describe it. Like things looked not fluid, right? Like, but not in like we did it on purpose because haha RoboCop, but like it just looked too stiff and everything, like more of like an old school arcade shooter.
Maybe that's what they was going for, because he is old school and he is like arcade-ish. You know, maybe that's what they was going for. Like they could play it off like, yeah, this is what we was trying to do. Wink, wink. So, yeah.
Maybe that excuse will work, but like it ain't gonna work for me. But it also probably is early stages, so
probably.
Yeah, hopefully it'll get better.
It probably will. It actually reminds me briefly of the rumors of the Indiana Jones game for Xbox. I think that might be confirmed, but it's like they're bringing back these nostalgia games, you know. And I do got a video coming out later on today, as of this recording, for rallying for a Power Ranger game. That's another nostalgia game that I want. But and I'm pretty sure you want that as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't mind them bringing stuff back. Nostalgia names. It's just all I say is respect the franchises and make sure you come correct. You can't have people favorite franchises out here looking crazy now. But the RoboCop looked okay. It looked all right. I liked, but I will say the main things that I liked about it was the cutscenes of him, and not so much the first-person shooter. But I do think I'll try it eventually. It'll be a Game Pass or PS Plus game. Unfortunately, that's the category it's in. Unfortunately, but I might catch it on the Black Friday sale.
You think they're gonna put the new RoboCop skin in there? That like black one
from 2009? No, they trying to pretend that it didn't happen. I'm pretty sure they're gonna pretend it didn't happen. Because that movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about that movie, I remember it. Like when I sat there and pretended he was a Power Ranger because he kind of looked that way a little bit.
A
But
little
as
bit.
far as RoboCop, the lore, like actual RoboCop, they kind of missed the mark on that. It seemed like they were trying to reinvent him, and that's not really what you do with nostalgia. So that's what I'm hoping with the game. At least they don't try to reinvent him and change him. Like,
Yeah.
but it looks like they're gonna at least make him look the same. But the timeline is different, man. It's like that's a different timeline. We so much different now. You know, so
True.
much more. The average gangster out here got so much more advanced tech to fight RoboCop at this point. It's like you gotta really play it off. It's like, yeah, but hopefully it'll be okay. I'm gonna look more into it because I'm a fan of RoboCop. I'm a fan of a lot of those older franchises. You know, so
Yeah. See, I know what you meant by like high tech, but all I can see is like the most thuggish looking guy. Like I'm about to hack his account and type it on a computer. Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
but they
I
got
got hired.
the average kid got an AK or something, so it's like he gonna have to like the bullets is gonna have to bounce off of him or something. I don't know how they gonna do it. Plus, if it's first person, like the gimmick was that he pulled a gun out of his hip, so you can't really see that. You know, you ain't gonna
True.
be able to see that unless they do it in the cutscenes and stuff. You know,
More than
make it
likely.
look all Iron Man ish or whatever. But yeah,
Probably. Sure. Yeah.
well, now that we got that out of the way, we can get on to the real main event. The real reason everybody is ripping and raving right now, and that is God of War Ragnarok. Yes, we can actually sit down and
Yeah.
talk about this. So you saw the trailer? Did you see the
I saw
trailer?
the trailer.
What was your
Yeah. I don't know
reaction of
what
the
it is.
trailer?
I don't know what it is about wolves. But like that giant angry wolf, it was just like, yes. Like, I don't know how much it's gonna impact the game. If it's just gonna be a background and then gone. I'm hoping it's a boss. Uh but that part looked great. I liked the new weapon. I didn't see as much of the older weapons in there. But I'm sure they will be. Uh it
I
looks
think
good. It looks good.
I think the wolf is probably gonna be like the world serpent in a way. You know what I mean?
Ah,
I think that's what they're going for with the wolf. I think, which is a little scary because I'm hoping they don't do. Because I remember the talk about God of War Ragnarok was like it looks like DLC, blah blah blah. There was all the hater type stuff about it, but the worst thing you want to do is see them sort of just copy and paste a little bit, where it's just like, oh, let's take the giant snake out and then we'll replace him with the giant wolf, and then like
yeah.
instead of like the Valkyrie is probably werewolves or something like just I don't want it to replace it one to one. I would like for it to be variety. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm very big on this one because the first game we talked about it before we started the podcast officially, where you had the ice giant that was the fire giant that was just like a regular one. He had that big boulder that he was throwing and everything. It was kind of the same ish. I'm
Yep.
thinking that they finally got some real bosses in this one, and they got some real enemy variety here. So it
Yeah.
doesn't look like it's the same 4 or 5 things. Because there was also the one rock thing that had the beam in his chest, and you had to throw it in the chest and that stuff. It's like those was coming up a lot. And I'm hoping that like this game it doesn't come up that much, and I'm pretty sure it won't. I think it'll still be there. I expect everything from the first game as far as enemies. I expect them to be there, but I expect the variety to be there as well. And I don't expect those same people to show up more than once like that. But what do
So
you
I was
think
just
about it?
about to say the same thing.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that they don't just have like palette swap giants at the end of like each one, or even palette swapped wolves. Like I don't want that. Uh, I'm hoping if anything feels relatively repetitive, it would be the like henchmen that you fight on the way to the boss.
Yeah.
Because that was how it was kind of for the first game. Where it was like, right, you had like zombie kind of guys, and like you had to handle them slightly differently than a few of them. But those were like relatively copy paste. But then I also didn't need every like little area to have a final boss that was a copy and paste. So I am hoping this one does change that as well.
The biggest one was just the one with the 2x4 or whatever it was, like the big boulder.
Exactly the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I remember fighting one, and it was like regular stone, and he had a little bit of grass around him. And then all of a sudden, there was one where it was like fiery, and then one that was ice, and it was like, okay, it's the same guy. Like it, and that was the other thing. They even like fought the same, where you still had to just dodge the big attack and then hit him, and then you're gonna do your special. And it was like, okay, I didn't need it that many times, you know.
I think a big thing though, it was in the E3 trailer too. You remember that E3 where they were just simply hunting for the deer, and they made it like a nice long thing. It was like I didn't expect that to be like a big chunk of the game afterwards. It just seems like it was. But I do remember they still had the dragon in the first game, and the dragon didn't show up that many times. And I would like to see, you know, a variety like that where the dragon was there for that one thing and you can remember that dragon. But he's not like, okay, now he's fire dragon, ice dragon. It's like, it's almost Pokemon-ish in a way. It's like, no, they don't have to do that. But as far as the story, man, I still personally feel like nothing's going to top his battle with Zeus. That's just for me. But at the same time, I'm not ready for the Undertaker story. You know, just without spoilers, it's like just the Undertaker. It seemed like that's what we're going with it. I don't know if I'm ready for another streak to end, I guess, in a way ish. How you feel about that?
I really don't want that to be the way that they go. And it does feel like that's the way that it's going.
Like they kind of told you, right? Like, without context, they kind of told you. If you played it, they told you. Like, you about to see the Undertaker streak come to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they said. And I'm like, well, I don't want to see that. But, you know, if you played the older God of War games, like, when he went against Zeus, like, the beginning of God of War 2, the first thing that happened was Zeus basically stuck the sword right through him. Basically, that was the biggest thing, and then he still came right back. So this is a character where you can literally bring anybody back and make something up because of how they're it's not Last of Us with Joel. Like, these are gods, right? These are immortal beings. It's like if they tried to bring back Joel from Last of Us, it would be very laughable how they would do it. It's like, unless he's the zombie somehow, like he's like some sort of mutated zombie that can talk, and then he a good guy, and it's like, okay, now you just reach it. But you can't really do that with them. But you could do that with the mythology, because we still saw Athena, you know, as a like ghost thing in his head, and you know, we still seen him have a brief thing with Zeus for a second somewhere in the middle of the first game. So I wouldn't write him out. But I would say just officially on paper, the way they would probably show it and everything, just like how we saw on the wall, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Not for Atreus. I'm not, as much as a fan I am for Kratos. It's like, that's how much I'm not a fan of Atreus, to be honest. He was just kind of annoying. He was just there. He was like really annoying to me. But
you think this game is gonna try and redeem him and make him like cool? Like, it looks like you're gonna have to play as like both, instead of him like just being in the background and shooting arrows when it looks like you might have to play as both a bit. And I wonder if they are leading to that, the little wall painting. But
I think they might pull The Last of Us. I'm sorry, what? Say it again.
I also can't believe you don't want to play Zombie Joel with like a little golf club in front of him.
They'll do that for their factions. But no, I think they did that in Last of Us 1, where you played as Ellie as a little kid because Joel was out for a split second. So I think that you'll see something like that with Atreus. But Atreus ain't that little, you know? He's going to be like early teens or whatever, they show his voice gets a little. He's got some deeper voice now a little bit. He's going through puberty, I guess.
So got some tone in there.
I'm thinking that what you might see is a spinoff, and then they give you another IP where it is Atreus and Kratos isn't there, or they still give you I don't see them writing Kratos off completely for Atreus. I think it would be a little too wild. I don't think everybody will go for that. Especially they would have to sit there and look at the Ellie and Abby situation with Last of Us 2. It was it's one of those things that people sort of let it go after a while, but I don't think you're going to be able to let go just getting rid of Kratos for his son. I don't see it. I don't see that, but I don't know.
They even have to. It's a very easy thing for a side story thing where you don't bait and switch, make it clear that you would be playing Atreus, but that don't mean he has to be gone. Kratos could just be on some this is it's your time to learn how to handle yourself and go out and do this, and then as Atreus you just got to do it and then make your way home to prove that you can handle yourself. It could even be a case of just if this game, because we know it's dealing with the Norse mythology, so if they focus, I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, we'll know PC people probably just got God of War, so I'm not going to spoil that part. But the final ending of it, if he's the primary focus for this game, so then you bring in the next level, Daddy, on the next one, and everything, and that's where they in between, where it's Atreus, go prove that you can handle this fight that's about to come up. And everything.
They're gonna just go all off the wall, man. They're gonna have Atreus versus Jane, and Jane gonna have Jane gonna have the hammer. That's what they gonna do. That's what they should do. Just go all chaotic. Just ruin everything. Go right ahead.
Do you think the series will end here, or do you think they might tie it to some other mythologies now?
So I heard that they said they wanted this story to end here, and they didn't want it to be a trilogy, and they wanted to move on to another thing, but they were a little vague on that. I don't know if it would be with Kratos or it would be with Atreus. It might actually be with Atreus. I think they might be experimental with just one game and say, here's Atreus's game.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking, but whether it's that way or not, whether it is going to be Kratos or Atreus, what I bet was do you think they're going to stick with Norse mythology? Do you think they'll try out maybe Egyptian mythology or I guess some of the South American stuff, or Africa?
They'll probably, if it's Atreus, they'll spin it off with more of Atreus's type stories that they didn't really, because right now it's just who is he? He needs to find his identity. Once he finds his identity, then who is his enemy? We don't know his enemy yet within this world. So I would imagine they would make it easy for themselves and give him that. Kratos, on the other hand, if they keep him around, he's supposed to go somewhere else. That's what I heard them say. But
that could be the way they split this up. Thinking about it, it was just him heading off to go do something else, and Atreus staying behind to figure out more about himself, and that gives you the opening to come back to either of them.
Yeah, watching Kratos be a dad was an interesting thing. It was just different. His personality was different from the original games, but overall,
you kind of wanted to be as a parent, right? Realistically, you would hope that a parent isn't just old out of war. You would hope he mellows a little bit for the kid. But I can see also for those.
I did a solo vid that's going to be released soon where I compared him to Eminem. I was just here's the Eminem that everybody wants, and then here's the Eminem that he kind of becomes over time, that has a full-grown daughter and makes up with his mom, that kind of thing. It's that's kind of what we're going to see with him. It's not something that you really want to see, because you just want the video game thing, and they're trying to be a little bit more they try to make it a little bit more relative, because at the same time, if you played the originals, you probably like in real time, you probably is a dad now, and you might have those
Yeah.
type of feelings too. Like there is that crowd, but all I know is I'm gonna say something that might be slightly controversial, and is basically this. Um, this game, God of War Ragnarok, may be a day one buy for me. Now it doesn't sound negative yet, but
What?
it might be a day one buy. However, an Atreus spinoff, no, it is not gonna be no day one buy for me. No, it's a wait for a sale all day.
Game first, maybe he grows on you. You got to get through this game first. Maybe he grows on you.
Yeah, maybe he does. I just know for the first game I ain't like him, especially when he was like he was going through this. Oh, I'm a god now, so whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I'm like, dog. If you don't get on somewhere, I wanted to throw him for a second. Like, dog, don't throw your axe. Throw him. Like that's how I felt for a bit. He was annoying. And then what was the word he used to say when you would get him to throw an arrow? He used to say something. It used to be so annoying to hear him say it. I'm like, just throw the arrow and shut up. Like I don't want to hear you. Like he used to have something he'd say, and it would change whenever you get like an upgrade for the arrow. I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear you. But yeah, is it a day one buy for you? God of War?
Yeah,
Ragnarok?
absolutely.
Full 70? You gonna get the PS5 version? Full 70, man?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought about yeah, I have to figure out how they gonna present that, because I might want to get the PS4 version and do the upgrade so I can have both versions. But or I might just go directly for the $70 one, because it'll be $60 and then $10 for the upgrade, right? And then you have both versions, or just full 70 and then you only had a. I don't know. It depends on how they do it. How you feel about the collector's editions that come with a hammer and everything? Did you see all of that?
I did not see all of that.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. How expensive is it though? Because I'm a collectibles person.
I don't think they put the full thing out there. Like they didn't say the whole thing, like the price. In my head, I was imagining it would be around 300 or something, or it'd be the same pricing range of what Horizon Forbidden West was. But it does come with their version of the Thor hammer, from what I've seen. And
I want the Thor hammer. I want his ice axe.
Yeah, I guess so. That's what they was going with. I think I do want, if they have it, I'm hoping that Best Buy ends up having like one of those like steelbook versions, because I think in the collector's edition you do get a steelbook as well, but Best Buy always have their own version of the thing. That's how they get you to buy the physical copy of games from them. So it's like,
gladly.
That's something I want to get, is the physical copy there with the steelbook. So
I think I'm gonna get the physical copy regardless, because I want that case. I want that image in my background.
You want the PS5 case? You gotta.
No matter. I want like to be able to see the God of War. But if I could get the steelbook one, it's probably the one I'm gonna go after.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna have like a reversible case that's probably the same whether you have the PS5 or PS4 version. I'm pretty sure they will.
Okay.
It's not something I really need to pre-order. It's like they're not gonna run out of copies of this. We're gonna get this. So I'm gonna wait for an unboxing to see like if there's a different inside cover. But for the most part, I want the Best Buy steelbook version if they have it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will. You know what's crazy? I did not think I will start buying games day one, but there's really only 2 of them now for this year. This is one of them, and then there's also the Callisto Protocol game.
Yeah. Those are my 2 as well. I have 3. I have 3 for this year.
What's those
2 and Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, all right. What was the date on that? What date was that?
Was it December? It might still be labeled as like just December 31st. Creator said it is coming out in December, is how they put it. every
I
time
would
somebody's like,
imagine
"So
it would, if it's
wait, right?"
December, it would
Like,
be before Christmas, right? I would imagine.
yeah, it might be like right before Christmas, maybe the
Same
22nd.
week. Yeah. Usually when they do that, yeah, it would be 22nd or like the 21st or something. They try to get there just in time. But
Yup.
that's what's up. You know, I gotta go back and watch them. I haven't seen the films. I'm actually not into the Harry Potter like that, but I'll watch them. That was one of those things. I don't want to give too much personal information. I'll just say it was one of those things that I was quote unquote banned from watching because of a quote unquote religion that I still definitely have plenty of respect for. It's just I thought it was silly for them to ban me from that when y'all kids are still ratchet. All right, we'll move on. Anyway, yeah, God of War. I will definitely be getting this. It sounds like my co-host will be getting this, so we might have some gameplay footage. Now, I will say, I'm gonna play this as a fan. Don't expect me to be on stream. I'm gonna play this as a fan.
Oh,
I'll give
yeah,
y'all some recording of it later for podcasts, but yeah,
I won't be able to like sit there and also look at any of those comments. Like, it's gonna have my all three of those games will have my 100%
yeah.
attention. I ain't looking at
You don't need
nothing
no
else.
backseating and somebody trying to troll and spoil, like none of that. No, no.
Nope.
But I plan on doing streams and stuff with stuff that people don't really see that much no more, like old school games and stuff, and the hidden gems and stuff. I don't want to do the bigger games because I feel like everybody's doing the bigger games. It's like,
Oh yeah,
I want to do the ones where I'm still the star of the show, not the game.
makes sense. I
Which
would actually want to do some of the like lesser games just for people who like. I don't know if I want to get that. What does it look like?
right.
And I can still have fun with it too.
I
That'd be
want to
where
take
I'm
this
at.
into another thing. This is a preview of a vid I already did. Still God of War related, but I want to get your opinion on this. And that
So
is basically the WrestleMania of this game's award show. This is God of War Ragnarok because we already know what it's going to be. It don't matter what anybody else is coming out with. The game award show is God of War Ragnarok versus Elden Ring. This is the matchup for the December.
oh, oh, oh.
This is the matchup. Who is gonna win that title? Who do you think is gonna be? It ain't
Yo,
gonna be no. Right now, Elden Ring has won from 2000 or not 2000 from January to now July as of this recording. Who has beaten Elden Ring? Nobody.
nobody.
Nobody. We like over halfway into the year, and so that's the only one that I think it can beat it.
Yeah,
Is God of War. I don't know. Callisto is still coming out, and that's still a big game for me. I just don't see Callisto beating it as a new IP. But God of War is just like Dark Souls, where it has games that it has a history. You know what I mean? And so,
right. I mean, Callisto does have Dead Space behind it, but like, I would put Dark Souls higher.
yeah, and I think is Dead Space done? It's not done by the same people, is it? It's not done by the same people. It's
It
just
was done by people who worked
who
on the
worked
original
on it.
Dead.
Okay, just not officially by name, but
It was
yeah,
considered like
yeah,
the spiritual successor until the remake was announced.
yeah. But we have here where God of War and from or Santa Monica Studios and Front Software, like these are their games from start to finish, and they've got enough titles now underneath each brand. Whereas like this is the apex on both sides. There are some people who still would say, Bloodborne is the best one, or there are some people like me who thinks God of War 3 is the best one, but it's like here it is. This is a bigger matchup here between these two than what we saw last year. Where it looked like they just had a collection of games they put there. People was mad because certain ones was not there, and then It Takes Two was the one that won. And it's like it looks like you just kind of gave it to It Takes Two. It's like it's no disrespect to It Takes Two, but it
I
doesn't
thought it was
look.
a fantastic
Yeah, but it don't look like a match. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when people talked about
game.
how that one year you had the Red Dead and Spider-Man and God of War 2018 when they came out at the same time, right? Or the at the in the same year. Like that looked like a match. You know what I mean? This looks like a straight up one-on-one match right here.
Sure
This
does.
looks like a big match, basically. And so, I think like push come to shove, at the end of the day, I might have to just go with God of War over Elden Ring.
Oh,
For me, yeah,
what I think, if God of War Ragnarok is different enough from God of War that it doesn't just feel like DLC, but at
mm-hmm.
the same time being that level of good, as God of War 1 was when it came out,
Yeah,
it's gonna win, and part of it too has to do with its freshness, right? Like
yeah,
Elden Ring being the best, it's difficult being the best from January, and they've been able to do that.
yeah,
Uh, so with it being that fresh, good. But if there's gonna be any sort of criticism for Ragnarok, I feel like God of War or Elden Ring might be able to hold it.
yeah. And also, like with Elden Ring, there's the fan base that says like Elden Ring in itself has some DLC type tendencies too, because it was like it still played just like the Souls games where you heard the higher pitch like noise when you get your last hit on a certain enemy and the enemy dies. It's like it still plays the
Yeah,
same kind of animations. It still has the same like you died text. You know what I mean? So it's like it was still like there's some of that element where people would try to come at God of War. Like it's still some of that there for Elden Ring as well, but it was still a success. It did not stop it. You know, and I
true,
think
very true.
with God of War, even though there were jokes and everything, I don't think that was going to stop its success at all. The fact that it still looked like DLC, you know, which is so offensive of a thing to say for a lot of people I've seen. But it kind of did a little bit. It did a little bit. But I think with the
Yeah,
PS5 textures, that's gonna take it to another level, and then you're gonna have some more gameplay elements that's a little bit different animations. It's gonna be different enough. It's gonna be different enough, and it's still a really big name. For me, this is PlayStation's like highest hitter. Like there are other games out there on PlayStation side that's still big, but I mean they've really nailed it with Kratos over time. Like
yeah,
everybody else sort of takes a back burner a little bit, but Kratos is huge for me.
very true, very true.
Huge. Mainly because he's like one of the last like real men type characters in a way. Like he got he carry himself a certain way. He has a certain
Yeah,
statue about him, and that's what I'm saying. If they find a way to crucify him, man, I don't know how I would feel about that. But just as
yeah,
far
true.
as a game, going against Elden Ring, that's gonna be a huge thing to see. Because no matter who they say is gonna win, there's gonna be a backlash on one side. It's gonna be crazy. Where I don't think too many people care when it said it was It Takes Two last year. It's just like whatever, it was It Takes Two. But this year, it's like I could see some backlash. If somebody says, "Oh, Elden Ring won," there's gonna be some people mad about that. And then if God of War wins, there's gonna be people mad
Yeah,
about that. All I know is overall, make sure if you're a fan, buy both, enjoy both. Like that's the whole
yeah.
point, is to have great games. Yeah. Anything else you want to say on God of War? God of War just went like the first 30 minutes. I already knew that was gonna happen. That was the
Nothing else
main
to
thing.
add.
Yeah. Good night, folks. That was it. That was probably the main thing. I don't know what else we can talk about. But no, I guess that goes right into the game that was delayed. So God of War is coming out this year, but we got a game that's not, which is Forspoken. And
Which would have been game of the year, hands down. Nah.
Forspoken.
Uh, Forspoken was supposed to come out, I think, in the fall, and I
Yeah.
wonder if they said it was delayed for strategic reasons. Does that mean they're afraid it was about to get like gulfed up by God of
I,
War and Callisto Protocol?
yeah, I believe they probably definitely did something like that for that reason. They pulled a Saints Row move Because if you remember with Saints Row, it's right around the corner now. Because remember they were supposed to come out early, and they dodged their bullet, and now they're getting ready to come out. And then there was also the whole situation with people not liking how it looked. I didn't really like how it looked, but like that's set to come out this next month if I remember correctly. And then Forspoken is set to come out next year. What was the window for Forspoken? You know?
Oh, I do not remember. I believe it was, and I can look that up now. Actually,
it's definitely in the first quarter if I remember correctly. But I don't want to be negative on it.
January.
Yep. January, yeah. So that's not too bad. They would just miss the mark a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest. It's not really a game that I think I really wanted to play. It did look flashy, all of the projectiles and stuff with the magic.
Yeah,
but I still remember that gameplay though. That gameplay that they took down. I still remember it. It looked hilarious. There was some snub the zombie looking arms thing going on with that one thing that was trying to come near him. It looked hilarious. Yeah. I don't know. But
with the powers and everything and the magic, it does look, it's something that interests me because I like superhero games that aren't like focused on your main superheroes as well. So like the Infamous series or Prototype, or interested in getting that Ghostwire Tokyo game. So this reminded me of like falling under those categories. But some of that gameplay footage was rough. It was rough for sure.
It was just funny looking. Like I remember she was just running in this big circle and was just kind of shooting projectiles, and eventually some of the enemies got close enough, and the one of them just threw his arms out. It was just it was almost like a mummy or something. He was trying to run towards her. I was just like, yo, what is that? The world did look a little empty. It did feel a little empty, and the voice acting was another thing. I remember the voice acting just didn't fit the setting that they were in. Like it just seemed like the actress was kind of just reading the lines, going through the motion, but you could hear that it sounded like she was just reading it, while when you're watching the footage, she's running. You know, you don't hear running, you don't hear tired in her voice, you don't hear any of that.
Right. And which I don't know if you ever noticed it, but Spider-Man is really good at that.
I was going to mention, they recorded it both ways in case she was web swinging or not. And so, I think it looks like they were doing, to me, it looked like they were doing something similar to the Hogwarts game where they have like the magic thing going on, but they created a new IP with it, and it's not a licensed product. Right. But it's like I would choose the Harry Potter one. That was if I had to come down to it, just because it seemed like that one looked a little better to me.
Same.
This one just has some more action kind of thing going on, and it was very, very pretty and shiny with the visuals. When we put that other trailer together, where it just looked like there was projectiles coming. But I just remember the goofiness of like she was talking to her bracelet. The bracelet had a voice. It's just like I don't know. But
now I will say I don't know how strategic it is to move it. Like I don't feel like somebody was like, "Dang, I was ready for Forspoken, but whoop, God of War's coming out." Like I don't think anyone was gonna not be able to get it because they went for God of War. I don't think those were like I can only choose between one. Right. I feel like the people who are going to get Forspoken will be able to still pick it up. And with a lot of games getting pushed to next year, that's like to be a lot more competition. So I don't like, it's like, I don't know if you would want to, like, I feel like this year is the year you want to get your game out. But
I will say though, if it really came down to it, if you had to choose where you would spend the $70, you would probably pick God of War over Forspoken.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know if that was the initial, if they were going to come out like right around the same time. But at the same time, I would also pick Callisto Protocol before I picked it too. It's like if it was closer there,
that might be more of a competition. And same.
But you know what? I'm gonna be controversial for a second, and I know this might make somebody mad. I probably would pick the Saints Row over Forspoken. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
I probably would. I just didn't like it. I just didn't
that.
really like it. But I have history with Saints Row, and I was like, okay, once I get over some of the goofiness of the characters, I still got to pick my own character, and I can still play in the game, and I can still, like, I know what I'm expecting with Saints Row. But I don't know. Forspoken don't seem. It just don't seem like my kind of game. I'm not gonna bury it. I think it's still gonna hit for some people, but yeah, I would have picked.
Definitely try to get out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be like a day one buy, but it's something I definitely will. I definitely have it in the plans as of now to try out, unless it comes out and everybody's like it's unplayable, it's buggy, it don't work, all that other stuff.
I mean,
but it is a game on my list to for sure try at some point.
It is a AAA game. It was AAA development. It just doesn't feel like it to me. It doesn't feel main event to me. That's the only thing. But yeah, I would pick Callisto over it. I would pick God of War over it, and I would pick Saints Row over it as well. Unfortunately, okay. But I am going to still play it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not going to play it. I will play it. It's just not going to be day one, just for me. But maybe it will be for someone else out there. But I think that's all we can say on it. I don't know what else you want to say on it, but
that's it for that.
We can move on to one thing that I did go through already briefly that I didn't get your take on, because I know it was a game that you were looking for at some point. This is the remake, or not remake, but remaster of Red Dead Redemption 1, along with maybe Grand Theft Auto 4. I don't know if you cared about that one. But we get the news that Rockstar is not looking for that. Basically, they're not working on that. You know, how do you feel about that?
You know, them not working on it because they're moving on to make sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is great.
Yeah.
I'm okay with. If it was, we're not doing that because we need to keep up the servers for like Grand Theft Auto Online or something, then I'd be a little all about it. But if you're like all hands on deck for the next one because we got to make sure it's fantastic, that's fine. I do hope they don't just become the Grand Theft Auto like studio only, and that we do get some sequels, other stuff like Bully or things like that. But I'm okay with it. I would like a way to play some of these.
Okay.
On like current gen stuff. To be honest, just so I don't have to plug in my PS3 to try it out. But if I got to, I'll plug in the PS3.
Well, I'm gonna make you roll your eyes because you do have a current gen system that you could play these two on, and that is called the Xbox Series X and Series S. You know, you can play those on there. I've played one of them on there. I'm going to play the other one, and they are boosted. I can vouch for Red Dead Redemption so far. I did see videos on the 60 frames for Grand Theft Auto 4. I haven't played that one on Series X yet, but I have played the upgraded version of Red Dead Redemption 1. It does look good enough. It looks good. It looked really good when you're just kind of like on the horse and you look at the background. I was like, this is kind of really nice for a game that came out like, 10 plus, years ago.
Yeah.
But I remember when I did have Grand Theft Auto 4 on PS3 at one point. And I do want to replay that on Series X. I did buy the complete version, which was like that plus like all the DLCs for that. Unfortunately, Rockstar, I do think that the story was that for Red Dead Redemption 1, they didn't have the source code anymore. And I kind of believe that too, because that headless thing going on with the undead nightmares was so atrocious. It was so unplayable. You had to try to power through it, but there were certain points where you literally couldn't progress because it was just endless people coming at you with no head, and it would be like this hollow circle like in their neck, like at the shirt area, and you have to like shoot in that area for them to fall down. And the game would think that it was like, the game would think that you shot him in the head or whatever, so the zombie died. But they would just kept responding, and it was moments where I was like playing this one part for like over an hour, like listening to like a podcast and just shooting and shooting, getting more ammo and shooting, but it never progressed. And I was just like, yeah, eventually I just had to stop. Now the base game is great. I advise everybody, if you never played it, the base game was awesome. But that Undead Nightmares is a no. That is a no. I don't know what happened, man. They just didn't. They couldn't fix it. And it was, from what I heard, it was across the board. It didn't matter if it was on the PS3 or the 360, or Series X, or I think also PC. Like, if you played the Undead Nightmare, you're gonna get them headless ghosts or headless zombies. But yeah, base game is fine. A lot of people I've heard people preferring Grand Theft Auto 4 over 5, basically because of the physics system and the details of like when you shoot them and stuff, when they fall over and grab their legs. Like, a lot of that stuff is not in GTA 5. So some people prefer the story because it was like one set story instead of switching between 3 people. But
okay,
I do like the idea of them putting all efforts to GTA 6. It's like, because I was one of those people where when they announced that trilogy of the mobile game, that they just like put new like they just put new assets on the mobile game, and I'm just like, come on. Like, it was the mobile versions that they got, and everybody had those balloon eyes and the really really cartoony kind of look, and it was just like,
yep,
come on, man. And they ended up creating more work for themselves because it came out very rough, and now it's something that they had to fix. And it was like, you could have avoided this altogether. Everybody already had access to them. And I remember they had to delist it and stuff, and then bring it back because of the backlash. It's like, just work on GTA 6. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I want a Bully 2. Do GTA 6 and Bully 2. You know, Rockstar is huge. They're printing money with GTA Online. They should have been working on GTA 6 as well as Bully 2. And Bully 2 would have been set in a type of world where they have full control over it. Like, they could have really made up everything, where GTA 6 is like they have things where they're trying to make it more realistic, and they'll have like real radio stations at the same time as like their own music going on in there, making it sound like a radio station that's made up for the game. But they put like new music in there and everything. Where Bully was like 100% its game. It's not influenced by the real world at the same time. Like, so I would still like to see both. I don't want them to just do GTA 6 and then after GTA 6 there's nothing for another 10 years. It's like, nah, do both.
Right.
You know. No disrespect to Red Dead 2, because they still did Red Dead 2 in between. It's like sometimes people forget that, but yeah, I would say, yeah, they got a strong franchise there with just between Red Dead and GTA, and then Bully. You know, Bully, bringing that back, they'll have a strong franchise there as well. That's 3 huge IPs for a company that is third party, you know? So
true.
Yeah. So I want to see new stuff more than I want to see the remasters, because there's technically ways to play them, you know. And a lot of times people do emulation with some of this stuff. GTA has been modded to death. I didn't see Superman. I didn't see Thanos. I didn't see Godzilla in there. You can make it to where it's got like the day after tomorrow looking storms and stuff, tornadoes and stuff. So GTA is fine. Like people might as well just have it where, you know, you playing the new ones. Like, you should work on the new ones. But anything else you want to say about that, man? Are you gonna try to get Red Dead 1? Play Red Dead 1?
I might find other ways to do it. Yeah, it does interest me to go. Like, I want to go play those because I missed them their first time around when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I still want to play them. So yeah, it's fine that they don't remaster it. But On that note, though, that you just brought up and everything,
Okay.
I do have to change an opinion because you said that you'd rather focus on the new thing than just a bunch of remakes.
Okay.
And I'd had the week to think about it.
Sure.
So what I mentioned last week about Sucker Punch, right? Where it's like they said we're not making or we're not working on Infamous and we're not working on like a Sly Cooper remaster and things like that. Uh, and I know it's still they're not even working on like the sequel to them. I was kind of really
Yeah.
looking at what like Sucker Punch releases, right? And they had I can't remember the name of it. I always forget, but they had an early game, their first game. Then they released Sly Cooper. Then Sly Cooper 2. Then Sly Cooper 3. Then there was like a few year gaps. And then they released Infamous. And then they released Infamous 2. And then they released Infamous Second Son. Then there was about a 6 year gap. And then they released Ghost of Tsushima. And I started realizing, yeah, they don't revisit their old IPs after they finish telling the story. They don't try to milk it. Everything that they've released, I've loved.
Right.
That I've played. And I realize it's because they put all of their effort into it. They tell a story. The sequels don't feel out of place or they're just trying to pull extra money. It completes the story, and when they're done, they put full effort into the next thing. So as much as I would want a new Infamous or a new Sly Cooper, they've told those stories and they've now moved on. So I am still excited about what they're going to release next. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Ghost of Tsushima 2 and then maybe a third one. And then they're going to move on to the next idea. Yeah. And as much as I want that old stuff, I like that they're focusing on that because then they keep pumping out fantastic games.
I think the bigger issue though was they did not when they made the transition to PlayStation Premium, those games just went missing. Not I don't think it was Infamous, but I do know the Sly Cooper was it went missing. It was just like it was in you had access in PS Now, and then all of a sudden, like there's actually a gap too. There was like a few things here and there. I don't know if somebody tallied up everything, but like games just went missing. So it was like you own you own the IP to this, so it should be in your service forever, but we don't have a lot of information on why all of a sudden it's just not in the service. So that's a thing in itself. For me, I do think that making newer games is more important than just bringing out names, because we just talked about like RoboCop is something that it's the name that's making that. Sonic game, I know that's controversial to say. To me, I feel like it was the name of Sonic. Putting Sonic in there is what made that game. Like outside of that, it just don't look like a Sonic game to me. But PlayStation in recent years has really been more about developing long term for like a really big game and a really big production and making it look very movie-ish. And that's the direction that they're going, and it works for them because these titles feel big, they feel gigantic and epic, and when you get one or when you put them all together like and look at the actual platform, it's like, yo, there's so many heavy hitters. That's why you have like this group of fans out there that call themselves like Pegasus Nation or whatever, right? Because they feel prideful over this big, roster of games. Like these are some really big heavy hitters. I guess unfortunately for anybody else, like you probably won't get a game every other couple years like that, Like if Jack and Dexter was coming out now, you would get one Jack and Dexter that was very grand, very cinematic, very like crazy with the detail and stuff. Where back then you got Jack and Dexter 1, 2, 3, and the Racer.
Right.
I don't see that happening in today's PlayStation. I don't see
well,
that.
Well, in the same comparison, look how they're treating Ratchet and Clank, right? They used to bust out. I remember seeing that name all the time, and then they were like Ratchet and Clank, like remaster, or like the new one, and then and then Ratchet and Clank drift apart. Like they're going way more detail with this. So exactly what you're saying for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully Nintendo will follow suit with Mario, but that's another story. Other than that, Yes.
Do that, Jam.
Yeah. Um, I think Sucker Punch knows what they're doing. They're like
Yeah.
it looks like in the PlayStation camp though that PlayStation is very hands on with that, but at the same time the formula is going to start being more of the same outside of probably whatever they're going to have Bungie do with like the shooter. Everything else is going to be that story driven game because that's the most successful for them, you
Which I
know.
don't mind.
But I'm curious, what are these 10 games? We got to talk about this again. The 10 games that are the live service game. I don't know if they're going to be that doesn't follow the third person over the shoulder formula. However, I do remember there being news about Forspoken having microtransactions. You remember
Oh
hearing that?
no.
I don't know.
No.
Well, we'll see.
It
We'll
don't
see.
it don't need it.
What if
It
that was
don't
for
need
what if that was the delay? Like that was the reason for the delay.
oh, oh.
How would you
It
feel?
would like it would go from not a day one buy to just not a buy at all.
Oh, just yeah, man. The NFTs. What about the NFTs being in the game?
Sick of them.
Sick of them. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about the NFTs? We got ourselves an NFT system. We're gonna get this NFT game system. That's I have here that it comes out in 2000 or set for 2024. I don't have too many details on this, but
NFTs don't need to make it out of 2022.
it
Like
doesn't
I
need
don't
to
understand.
come.
First of
Yeah.
all, they just so they want to get mad at you if you screenshot their NFT, but then they're
Yeah.
gonna just outright just steal the GameCube logo and just flip it and just go boom with ours. Look, it's different. It's a B. Get out of here.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Nintendo is usually vicious. They are usually
Oh,
vicious. This is the one time it's like, okay, be vicious to the NFT people. What are you doing?
right.
They vicious yet? I don't know. Maybe they will be next week or something. We'll report on it, but
Unless it's just not on Nintendo's radar yet. But
yeah, I don't know.
what does it mean? Is you what the I don't like the idea. I heard that they're going to be making NFT driven like story based games. Is
Yeah,
this the system they come out on? Like
technically, I
I
don't.
oh,
But I think I've seen some breakdown videos. Like some of the games that's supposed to be on there is already being like broken open, basically, where people were exposing them as being direct rip off of like a lot of games that we don't know about and stuff. Like just to try to throw something together. That's my issue with the whole NFT thing is like it feels like they're not giving
yeah,
you a quality product, period. Like we know they're not to an extent, but at
yep,
the same time it's like, well, why where's the AAA NFT basically? Like where's something that's really thought about, that's really, a crafted piece of art. It
right.
looks like crap, the Bored Ape stuff, and
Oh,
they're doing the same thing with this, and they're just throwing something together. And so this is the next thing, if it's a piece of hardware and stuff, then somebody will probably review it. I'm not about to buy this, but
I hope anyone who pre-orders it gets a picture instead.
they
They
get the
get a
picture
picture.
of it instead of
They're
it
like,
had a
boom, you
controller. Like it had like some sort of like
send them a picture of the controller too.
send them the
Be like,
picture of the controller. I don't know. I will tell you this because I actually put this to be a part of the notes for this, but apparently from January to June, the NFT sales dropped. Like they were somewhere in the ballpark of like 12.6 billion, and it dropped down to like 1 billion, like converting
yep.
into crypto. So it does look
That
like it dropped
got
down
so
a
upset.
lot. Yeah.
That's why I got so upset when Eminem released the music videos. Like they're dying. Don't help it. Like don't
Yeah.
throw that stuff out there. Uh,
it sounded like a trendy thing for the moment where people are just kind of doing it just because. But for
Oh
me,
yeah.
I was just like, what's what's the end goal here? Like for this being a system, like is this gonna be a real system that comes out that stays a system that has a part two and everything? I don't
Well, they call it Folium 1, so maybe
know.
there will be a 2. I don't.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I don't.
I ain't buying this. I'm gonna just put it this way. I ain't buying it. I ain't
I ain't
buying it.
buying it at
I ain't
all.
buying nothing at all. None of this. So, oh well.
It's just wild to me that people. I heard, and I haven't looked that much into it, but I heard
Yeah.
that they're now like the graphics cards that they're making. They're doing something to make them completely like optimized for gaming and suboptimal for mining, just so crypto bros will stop buying up all the graphics cards.
Mm,
And that's why they're able to like start lowering the prices again because things are
okay.
getting back to normal prices. Like I was seeing some of the like earlier like 3070 graphics cards for hitting around like 600 now, 6 to 700. So they're dropping back down, and I of course the like super high end ones are still over 1,000, but like some of the
Yeah.
ones that are like, oh, this is still good, is like hitting 600-700 bucks, and it's like, yeah, it's dropping because they're making sure it's not good for mining.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely buy a graphics card before I buy this thing. What is it called again? Polium? Is that what it is? Am I saying that right?
Oh yeah, yep.
I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. Anyways, I do want to say real quick,
So
because
you
we're
just skating on a rail, huh?
we're watching my embarrassing footage of me dying a million times over and over again. This
Here's
this
what I didn't
game,
get.
bro, Crash, bro. I was not expecting because I knew Crash the remasters of everything was harder, and I heard everything. I heard about stories. I seen the footage and stuff, bro. This is like on the same scale, and it was so weird. It was so weird that it was like hard because I was just like, dude, like I would be playing and I'm like, all you gotta do is just go apart. The only reason why it was harder and stuff because I was sitting there trying to get every box, and you can kind of see that here. I'm trying to get every box right instead of
Yeah.
just playing, and because I'm trying to get every box, I always mess up. Like I always messed up, and I'm like, dog, like it can't be that hard. And I've seen so much footage of people having the same situation. But this
Those
was a
was the part. I'm still on the first one because of this.
this game was a game where it literally stopped people from liking Crash a little bit, from what I remember seeing. Not this one, but the ones before, those remakes or those remasters.
Well,
Yeah,
people kept calling it Dark Souls. They were like, it's Crash Souls. Like
yeah,
it's the like Crash Bandicoot. Uh, it didn't make me hate it. I started wondering like, was I better at games when I was younger? But I ended up realizing it's because the older games they were just like, you were close enough. You made it on the ledge. Where this one is like, nah, you ain't make it,
yeah. It
homie.
was like precise because I
Yeah.
never just missed a crate in front of me or something. And this game, like this footage, I was literally still in the beginning of the game. I was only like 2, 3 boards in, but it was only because I kept trying to get every like crate. Like I used to get every
Like
crate
you
in the
here.
first 1 or 2 tries in the first game or in the games when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, nah, you miss,
Yep.
and I think the difference is they like the change here from the original games is like you don't get to a game over screen like that. If you chose the modern controls, you get to like keep going almost like if it was like Odyssey, right? It's just you don't just
Oh.
stop. Well, the thing about it is that just means you're just gonna keep suffering. Like you just keep suffering, and that was what I was doing in this game. And it was just like, how did I keep messing up so much? It's just like a regular old. I'm still gonna play it. I'm not trashing it at all. I still gonna play it all the way through, however long it take. I'm still a big fan of the series, fan of the game.
Uh-huh.
It was still fun. It was just like I could see the rage quitting people, Like I could see the people who are just like, ugh. Cause I was wondering for a while. I was like, this is a game I want to buy, but it wouldn't go down in price, and it didn't seem like anybody else was checking for it after a while. It was just sitting there. I'm like, what's going on with this game? It was like I remember the last Black Friday, I like scooped up everything that I wanted, and that was on the list, and it was the only game that did not get a Black Friday sale. It was like, you gonna pay this money, and I was like, what? Like, why it ain't get the sale? And then I eventually realized, like, okay, you know, Xbox buys Activision, so it's gonna probably show up on Game Pass one day. So it's like, okay, I'll just play it there, like whatever. I won't have to buy it. But then, you know, it came out for PlayStation Plus earlier, so I have access to it, and just started suffering. Basically, I was just like, dog.
I
Like,
just heard the frustration in your voice where you just fell again. I heard it when you were talking about it.
bro, it's hilarious at the same time. It was still funny, but it was just like, dang, man, like, like it shouldn't be this hard, but it was hard, and I'm transparent with it. I don't care if somebody want to make fun of me if they better at it. It's like, I'm just playing the game and having fun. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna show the footage. I was like, fine, I'm still gonna show the footage of me suffering for an hour plus straight. Like, I'll show it. I don't care. But I basically didn't go nowhere for anybody, because I might clip this. I basically, for the next hour, I ain't go nowhere. Basically, that's what we got to see. I ain't go nowhere for the next hour.
Oh my goodness.
That's basically what happened. Like, I made it a little bit further, but then like all of this footage for the rest of this podcast, right? For most of it, I'm still in the same board, basically. And I've never had that with like Crash from back in the day. I'm still sold on it, man. I'm gonna keep playing. If it takes me a year, 2 years, whatever, I'm gonna keep playing. I ain't gonna play it like constantly every day. I'm still play other things if it's just really that hard, you know. I ain't gonna give up on it, you know. Like when the people was like making all them Elden Ring videos and Dark Souls videos about how much they hated and stuff, it's like, nah, man, just get good, get better. So right here, I suck, and then I'm gonna get good. So whatever, right? Get good, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
I was gonna see if you could get past. Hold on.
You want to see? Oh, you did. Pass? Yeah, I got past, and then boom. So that's the game.
Even though we've footage, I guess now I can go ahead and talk about Outriders for this one thing real quick.
Awesome.
I gotta give them some praise. So people playing the new expansion World Slayer. There's a different there's like a specific boss that people are fighting over and over because the loot that it gives out is more and better than the loot that you're getting in some of the other missions.
Oh,
right? Really? Like it's pumping out heavy. I mean, you know, it's one of those like, oops, we accidentally like put too much into this part. Where it's just like,
basically.
Yeah. So that's the thing that they talked about, right? So most games nerf it, right? They nerf it a little so it's equal with everything else. Outriders put out a statement that just said, hey, we realize everyone's mainly playing this part because it's giving out more loot as opposed to the other parts. Our bad, we're going to bump up the loot that's coming from the other parts as well. That's the next patch they're putting out. They straight up said, oops, we didn't realize this was giving more, so let's make sure the other ones give the same amount too. Instead of nerfing, they're buffing. And I've never heard that from like the studio. It's like the fact that they're listening and like actually trying stuff.
That's what's up. That's actually very good.
Shooter, let's give you more loot. Our bad.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What's up? Because usually, yeah, they make. Because I think, you know what? I think they learn from their kind of mistake. Because I remember when the game first came out, they had issues with bugs, and instead of addressing the bugs, the first thing they did was nerf the guns and stuff. So they technically made the game worse in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so now they're doing something different. Like they've ironed out most of their stuff, and now they're just working on making it more funner. So that's a good thing. So good job on them for that.
Oh
I
yeah.
look forward to going into World Slayer eventually. I don't really want to play it right now, but I look forward to it. You look forward
Okay.
to that?
Well,
This is like your
footage.
game.
Yeah. Looking for the footage earlier. Me playing with my bro and sister. We're almost at the end of the game, so we're almost there. Might jump into World Slayer a little bit earlier. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. So did you buy it yet? The actual
No,
DLC?
not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Good to hear that you're gonna jump into it. You was the
Yeah.
person who had the super character anyway. You had the character that was just like above everybody else, extra privileged character who just
Just a little
10,
higher
10
level.
15 levels above everybody else, and we had to try to catch up the whole time and never actually did. But that's cool though. You just try to show off. That's what it is. You try to show off.
We saw when I
Try,
switched to the other character, I just died all the time because he was underpowered. So
yeah.
I put the strong one.
That's what's up. Well, I think I do want to mention one thing. If you're done with Outriders, I think we might be done with Outriders. So I wanted to mention one thing that I thought was kind of funny. Like, apparently, so this kind of goes back into the NFT thing, but not really NFTs exactly. It's more of the just microtransactions. But apparently, despite the fact that Diablo Immortal got criticized and heavily scrutinized, they apparently was making at a peak, more than $1 million per day in their microtransactions.
Yeah.
They were there. They was printing money basically.
The people who complain, there's an equal amount of people who don't mind.
Yeah, so
also what doesn't help is some streamers online were like, I will put money just to show how bad this game is and that you don't get anything, and are spending thousands of dollars.
Like, what are you doing?
See, it's bad. It's like, well, they got their 6,000 from you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, they didn't get it from all the fan base. Though, yeah, they did, because the fan base gave it to you, and then you just gave it to Diablo Immortal in one lump sum. So congratulations.
Yep.
You just played yourself, basically. They still made the money, because no regular person was going to have thousands of dollars to give to Diablo Immortal. But the streamer, you got it from your fan base. So that's worse. It's almost worse. Yep. And then they turned around and still got the regular everyday dollars from them too. And then, it equaled up to being a crap ton of money every day. So hopefully this goes to Diablo 4 a little bit, whatever they need, and not just in the pockets.
Did you hear about the WoW player? The World of Warcraft player?
No.
I believe it was World of Warcraft. Maybe it was legal. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was World of Warcraft. Some guy had a bunch of currency in there that he was able to somehow sell off and convert it into the currency for Diablo Immortal without having to put in any extra money.
Wow.
Which made him extra rich in there. And then he just bought all the highest level gear to keep beating the people who put their actual money into it.
Oh my god.
So he kept targeting the people who were really paying money to have high level gear, and with his free character, just for him it was free, just run around and just started demolishing people in PvP.
See, we doing too much. I mean, I guess if you just, that's such you have fun, but that's how you have fun is cool. But for me, man, it ain't that serious. Is it that serious? I don't know. It's not that serious for me. But yeah, Diablo Immortal, they made so much money they can, feed the homeless. Feed the homeless, Diablo. How about that?
They won't.
$1 million a day? $1 million a day? Okay. Do something like that. How about that?
It used to be so good.
You see this footage, bro? You see this footage? Look, I'm thinking about it. Look at this footage. Just I know I should move forward, but nope. It's like I know I should move forward, but no, I just went and took that L anyway, right? Like I'm still in the same level, dog. This the bonus part in that level. Like I'm in
Oh,
the same level. All right, but
okay.
I got something cool here. So this is a better late than never. So better late than never. We have Biomutant finally getting a PS5 version. Are you excited?
I think excited is the right word. I'm intrigued. I'm whelmed.
Intrigued?
Whelmed. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
whelmed. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm whelmed. Uh,
Okay.
it should be
So
okay.
yeah.
Like, I might get it, or I don't know. In my head, it's like I want to get it, but I just have a strong feeling that it's gonna be a PS Plus game. So I'm like, I can wait. Like I thought it was gonna be a PS Plus game before Crash was a PS Plus game. So
Biomutant. Biomutant was
oh
thrown out there to die when that first happened. Like when they made that announcement on Twitter that they weren't going to be able to have it in 4K on PlayStation, but you could still play the 4K version on Xbox. It was just it became a console war thing, and it just died. Like it, and at the same time, it wasn't like that big of a game anyway. You know, it wasn't like one of those big AAA type games. It looked kind of pretty, but it was still it's more goofy. And I know there was a lot of complaining about the commentary, but yeah, for anybody who still cared or wanted to wait for a sale or something, you get the PS5 official version, at least for the PlayStation side, on September 6, 2022, and it's supposed to also have full DualSense support. So there you go. If you want
okay.
all the rumbling and stuff, it's there. I'm assuming outside of that, the game, if it had any major bugs, it should be polished by now. It's had plenty of time to work through that. I think they probably do have most of that fixed. I know they gave you the option to where you could turn the commentator guy off
Yeah.
because people didn't like the commentator guy. And it's still a game where you can make your little rat thing, and then you can run around and do all the stuff.
It was a
So
game.
yeah,
I don't know if I told you, but when it was in development, it
uh-huh.
was one of the top games I was looking forward to actually. And one of the things I respected was that they never put like a release date when they were talking about the game, and people was like, "When's it
Okay.
coming out?" And they're like, "When it's ready." And that like, I love that because it was like we're not gonna just like, well, it gotta come out this year. Like they were gonna wait until the game was in a state that it is like it should be before
Yeah.
releasing it. I was so like good for it until like every review was like it's mid. And I don't need it to be like the best game in the world. But when I heard what it was and the things they did, it was just like, well, maybe it should have been in the oven a little longer. Like, I don't know. So I'll get to it eventually.
Okay. At one point, the
Okay.
game dropped down to like $15. That was when I picked it up.
Oh, I didn't
So
know it hit that. Otherwise, that's when I would have got it.
I'm sure you'll see something just like that, or maybe even lower this Black Friday. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not really a must-have, but it's definitely something you can just play. I like those games that are not the AAA games. I think that some of them, like they end up being hidden gems in the long run because you always
Yeah.
focus on a Callisto Protocol looking game or a Resident Evil 4 remake or something, but you don't focus on a Biomutant. Biomutant is like the perfect game when the generation is over. Like that's when you
Uh-huh.
start picking up certain games and start playing them. When you watch those channels where they be like hidden gem and it's like a generation and a half old, it's like that's when Biomutant will shine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it won't shine right now. It's literally about to like the next gen update is going to come out days after Last of Us Part 1 remake or remaster. So
Uh,
it's still in a death spot. And I think Callisto Protocol is in that same week. So actually, look this up real quick. Is Callisto Protocol the same day as Biomutant's upgraded version? That might
well, Calypso 2nd.
Is because I have here, September 6th for Biomutant, and I know, it might be the second because I think it was supposed to come out the same day as Last of Us Part 1 for the PS5, which I think is the
Callisto
second.
Protocol is December 2nd.
Yeah, so it's like either one of those two or Biomutant. Which one are you picking? I think people gonna pick the other two. So yeah, like it's gonna get killed probably, and then after that, you could probably pick it up super cheap on a Black Friday type of thing because it ain't gonna beat Last of Us or Callisto, unfortunately for them. But I say still give it a chance. It's just a game, but I do want to ask you now that we're talking about it. Do you have a recommendation for this week? Any game?
I mean, I do. One of the older games that I don't think I've talked about yet, as a recommendation, but The Outer Worlds.
Okay.
To me is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. So if you're into RPGs like Fallout, for example, Outer Worlds is definitely a great game. It's a sci-fi space story where all of your decisions affect how the game goes. And there's you could play it the way you want to play it. So like if you want to be a super strong bubbling idiot that like hits everything, you could do that. If you really want to be a shooter, you could do that. You could tackle problems with stealth. I played the game in terms of like making my guy very charismatic and like could talk his way in and out of a lot of situations. So there was times where I would normally have to do this really long mission, but I was able to just convince the person, hey, just do this. And it was like, okay. Or it was a case where like you're supposed to choose sides and picking one faction or the other. And then like whoever you don't choose is going to be hunting you down throughout the game. But because I was so charismatic, I was able to get them to get along. And then it was not an issue for me at all. And I only had that option because of my points in charisma. And it has like a few different endings. You could be a really nice guy. You could be a really bad guy. So it's how you want to play it. And the story's goofy enough. There's going to be a lot of jokes. And there's like a second one coming out soonish. So definitely a game to try if you haven't already.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely one of those names that's on my radar. I haven't tried it yet. So I'll definitely take a look at it. So yeah, that's good. That's good. A quick recommendation. I don't know what else to say for it. Anything else you want to say for it? Because I do have some other news as far as Epic Games. But
okay, well, real quick, there's this gun that you could get in the Outer Worlds because they have their own like pretty much like Fago or any of those like soda like brands where it's like knockoff. And they have their own, and you could get it. I chose Fago because that one has all the different flavors, whereas like you don't have like a blue Pepsi, but like Fago got all the flavor colors and everything like that. There's this gun in there you can get all the different flavors, and then it shoots the liquid at people.
Nice. That sounds a little adult, but that's what's up. That is what's up. So shout out to
that, like the rotating one. It's that, but like soda. It looks like what's that game? That Nintendo game with squids, the like with painting thing. Like the squid people.
I can't even think of it right now. I know they got the third one coming out. Splatoon, yeah. Splatoon 2.
It looks like that, but it's soda.
Nice. Shout out to the people who paint people's faces. All right. So real quick, this is something I was supposed to do at the halfway point, but I'm just going to mention the Epic Games that is going to be free. We all love free stuff.
Yeah, we do.
So we still got, up until the 14th for the stuff that I mentioned last week. I don't think I got those games in front of me. But you have until the 14th, and then from the 14th until the 21st, there is a game called Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm, and then, or Realms with an S, and then Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. These are your free games to, get under Epic Games. I say that for myself to remind myself But you have from July 14th to July 21st to pick up these games basically for free. No credit card required. Yes. All right. And other than that,
Wonder Boy is something that looked interesting for me a
it
while
look
ago.
interesting for you.
Yeah, it's a cool from what I remember, little platformer side scroller game that looks pretty cool. So I'm happy that's going to be up there.
Yeah, I love platformers, and I want to play a lot of Epic's free games on the Steam Deck when I do get one. You had something you wanted to mention about the Steam Deck. What's going on with the Steam Deck that you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
so basically when they were shipping the Steam Deck, Valve quietly replaced the SSD. They had a 4.0 like SSD that they
Yes.
dropped to a 2.0 SSD. Now, functionally for games, everything's going to pretty much play the same. It's not noticeable at all.
Okay.
Uh some, very few, but some transfer speeds will be slightly slower. But again, it's nothing that's going to be that noticeable, right?
Yeah.
The problem that I have with it, though, is that they quietly did it and didn't really tell anybody. They just kind of quietly changed it on the website. So people who pre-ordered, they pre-ordered one for a 4.0 and could be getting something with a 2.0 in there.
Yeah, that's
And it's like,
probably bad,
you
but
lied.
well,
And that's my only issue. Well, because it's like they didn't drop the price or give them any money back. They paid
okay.
for something with the 4.0 processor or SSD, and you're giving them something that was technically false advertisement. And even though they may not notice it unless they open it up, and one of their arguments was that nothing's they put the 4.0, but nothing it has is graphically needing the 4.0, hence why they were able to drop it to the 2.0. But what happens for that first game that does need the 4.0? Now all of a sudden the Steam Deck that some people have won't be able to handle it, even though they should.
That's why you got to get the Steam Deck too. You got to wait for the Steam Deck too. I think so I do plan on getting the Steam Deck. For me, it just seemed like unnecessary right now because I want to play majority of the games on a big PC or like a regular big screen. I mean, like a regular monitor or whatever. But like some of the older stuff or not so graphical stuff, I do play on my phone now. But the Steam Deck does have its place. I can see where people are coming from if they are upset about that. The only thing I would say is like I remember like there was a thing that happened with the PS5 for a second where people was finding out like there was that one YouTuber Austin Evans did a video saying like the PS5 is worse and then it like
Oh,
caused him to get like the threats and people just being upset with him. So many videos came out and there was like debacle all over the place and it
oh,
ended up
yikes.
not really being a big deal. It was just like, okay, it's emitting out heat at a higher temperature, basically. But other than that, everything else still played the same. And then I think from the beginning, the PS5 was having 3 different types of fans in it. And so, like, depending on the PS5, you got your fan. The big fan might be different from what somebody else might have.
Oh,
And so,
yikes.
it wasn't really like, it didn't, like, how much want I say this? It didn't like affect the
Affect performance.
performance. Yeah, and so with that, I don't know if that's going to be a big deal with the Steam Deck overall. I think it's going to be something that people are going to forget about in the long run. I think,
Yeah, for sure.
and
So
yeah,
I guess how I feel is that for most, you say it, and I can't imagine there's somebody who's like, well, I wanted a 4.0 and sending it back, right? It's the idea that you quietly changed it.
okay,
Like, you need to, email, let everyone who, pre-order know, just hey, this is the thing. And they should have the option to then go, well, then I don't want it, which, I mean, nobody would. And it
yeah,
is the thing that's going to be forgotten about. That goes for PlayStation 2 with the fan thing. It's a thing that, you can explain it's not going to affect anything, but if you're going to swap those parts, it's something that they should know. Otherwise, to me, that's false advertisement.
Yeah, I think the fan thing with the PS5 was like done like that. Believe from day one. I believe the fans were different. The issue was that at some point, I think with Austin Evans, he showed that the heat sink was smaller. Like they shrunk the heat sink down, and
Oh,
he titled his video. I mean, yeah, it was a YouTube move, but he titled it that the new PS5 is worse and kind of exposed that. I think PlayStation was probably just quietly doing like hardware changes just from their research and how they can cut costs, and I guess. But it became a thing. Like it was a thing for a minute. He got all kind of threats going his way and stuff, and there was like a back and forth with other channels or whatever. But
stop threatening people.
overall, it didn't matter. Like I have the beginning PS5, but I believe you would have the one. Like if we tore ours down, yours would probably be one with a heat sink that's different, right? But
Okay.
we were still able to play co-op. We still able to do everything the same way.
Right.
It's like unless we really had a temperature thing on there, how would we really know that mine or yours was getting hotter? You know what I mean? Like it's something that we didn't really care about too much. But
now, also with that said, though, if they had like changed the specs, if like for what it said online and everything, that's also not an issue. I think my only issue is for people who pre-ordered. I guess those are ones like the quietly changing the specs. Like if when you bought yours, if it had the one thing written, and then when I went to go get mine, it had the other thing slightly written. To me, that's not really false advertisement. That's just like a little sneaky, but whatever. Because again, functionally, I wouldn't have noticed anything. But it's the if I ordered already. So like anyone who bought a Steam Deck now and it now says 2.0, that's fine. It's the people who pre-ordered specifically when it said 4.0, and then you changed it to 2.0 without alerting the people that you changed it that had already pre-ordered. That's my only issue.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we just have to see like if there is a change. Hopefully, it's not.
Yeah. I don't think it would be.
We'll see. Anything else you want to talk on that, or are you good with it?
I'm good with it.
Yeah, protest. You got to go out there to Valve, like their headquarters, and you have to have like a sign or something in protest.
Don't trust Valve. Just marching around in front. Only person there.
Yeah, they'll spray paint you or something, or they'll hit you with some. What is it called? What's the stuff that they hit you in the mace? That's what they'll do. They'll be like get. That's what they'll say. They'll be like get.
Mace makes so much more sense. I thought you were gonna say silly string. I don't know why. Well, I just say the person with silly string. But like, why? They go mace me. I'm the only person out there protesting.
Yeah, they
like,
gonna
no
mace you.
That's still your mace.
All right, real quick. I guess we can speak on this for a second. It's not going to be anything big, but somebody designed a case and a screen for the PS5 so that you could take it on the go. How do you feel about playing the PS5 at work or somewhere?
You know what? I'll say if you're a person who for your job you do travel a lot, so you're just gonna be in like hotel rooms for a week and then travel somewhere else. I actually had a buddy of mine who's in charge of a restaurant chain. So like for a good like 2 months, he just had to stay in a different like city for a week and then like go to a regular like 9 to 5, but like monitor the job and then just go back to the hotel. Just sit there. That might be cool to do because you get to like still play your games at night. I don't know if it's something I'd get if I'm not going anywhere. The PS5 is kind of heavy. Just gotta carry around all day.
You mentioned one thing that I just thought about. I don't know if I would want to take it on an airplane though, because I remember seeing specifically while I was on the plane, like the person who handled the luggage. I remember everybody was kind of just looking at him outside of the plane. He was basically just throwing the luggage. He was throwing it. Like he was
I'd have to get
throwing.
off the plane to fight him.
I remember that, man. When I went out of town for this one moment, man. Like I remember just seeing this dude, and I was the first thing I'm thinking about is people who got laptops, especially the laptops or the tablets and stuff, and then any other electronic device. Like this dude, because they put him on like this cart thing that they take to the
Yeah.
next plane. Man, this one dude, and he did that for like more than one plane too. But he was just taking him. He just kind of threw him. Like he didn't care. Like they just got launched 2-3 feet in the air and landed in the cart. That's what was happening, dog. Like that's what he was doing for every piece of luggage. Like I was like, dog. Like so no, I don't know about that, but for the portable, like it sound cool also, but I feel like with the PS5, it's still a little hot right now. Like you gonna get jacked if you try to take that out in the public and you just sitting somewhere like.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
One of the terms I know in the gaming world for the toxic community is they always say go touch grass, right? It's like like when you out and about, you're supposed to be touching grass technically. I don't know if I want to take the PS5 out there on the grass. I'm in the park with this thing, but
I would hope not. I think my scenario is a lot more reasonable of the nights when you're at a hotel.
Yeah, the hotel probably. But then again, with the hotel, you could just hook it straight up to the hotel TV. You got a nice big TV there,
Oh, yeah, true.
Know. But you know what? I did see, like, they have a screen for the Xbox Series S, and that thing is, like, really small as it is. So when they put the screen on there, it was almost perfect. It was like a mini little laptop thing, and it looked really good. But with the PS5 one, it looked like a nice big case. It looks like you got something important in there. Like you ever see the people with the cases where it's like handcuffed to them, in the movies and stuff. It's like that's kind of how you would feel the PS5 would be because of how big it is. It's like I don't know if you want to, lug that around. Now, if you got more than one PS5 and you just can't get enough of it, you got a game no matter what, then have at it. But I don't know if I would risk taking mine and putting it in that.
If I'm going to the park with my PS5, you better believe it's about to be handcuffed to me. Like that.
It just seems so odd. Like that's what the Steam Deck is for. It's like no, that's what you get the Steam Deck for. Like you have the Razer Kishi with your phone or something, or maybe even the Switch. It's like, but that thing is big. Like I don't even want to take my laptop around like that no more. It's like
no. So the only thing I can think of it being for, like best, is if you're going to a friend's house and you want to like still play co-op on an online only game, you can have your PS5 there too, and they don't need to have a second TV, right? You have your little side. I feel like that would be the best. So if you're constantly traveling to like friends' houses to play, and you're playing on PS5, boom, there you go. Hopefully they just got good internet.
Yeah, I can imagine you'll be in some sort of hotspot situation if you like really out and about. But if anybody want to do that, that's on them. I don't know if I would do that. That's more of the home console. I am getting into the handhelds now. I'm starting to get a variety of some handhelds. The Steam Deck is next. So
welcome to the squad.
I would rather have something that could fit in my pocket. I'm not, like what if he was at the Secretary of State? Like that's like one of those situations I used to always think about. It's like I could pull something out of my pocket, but I ain't about to pull out no PS5 in a case at the Secretary of State. I don't know. So it just depends on the situation, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. So
they're like next, and you're like, hold up, I gotta finish this part real quick.
Nah, not me. I got that just seems so odd. I don't know. But anyways, I got a cool one for you. We're gonna go high and then we're gonna go low. So the first high is
all right.
The game Stray ended up being the most #1 pre-order game on Steam, I believe. It beat the MMO zombie game called The Day Before, which is like somewhat of a Last of Us kind of thing. So it beat that. That was the biggest one. So this is now the biggest game on Steam. the most requested, most sought after,
as it should be.
as it should be. So yeah,
Game of the year. You over here talking about God of War versus Elden Ring. It's about to be Stray.
if they put that in there too, and it somehow win, that would be the most hilarious thing. I would be taken about a little bit. Like like what are we doing here?
I will trash talk so much online
Oh
if
my
it
god.
won.
You'll be the fanboy for Stray. The thing about it was, it's probably a cool game. It just seems so odd that it was like number one. Like number one. Like I put
Yeah.
that in the category of Biomutant for me a little bit. But I guess no, people love cats. They don't like the little Biomutant rat, but they love cats.
Cats. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You just told that not only do they love cats, they were just like, you can meow. That was all you needed. You got to be
Yeah.
able to meow. You got to be able to pet dogs. Like, those are the two game mechanics. Like, if there's a dog in a game, you got to let the person pet it. If there's a cat and you're going to beat a cat, let me meow. They did it. That's all you need.
Man,
That's all you need in the game.
Stray. That's crazy. I ain't gonna hate. I'm gonna congratulate. But if it beats Elden Ring and God of War Game of the Year, that's gonna be crazy to see. I don't know. Maybe everybody is gonna calm down, but I just know it made number one. It was number one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When does game
The
come
first.
out? Yeah.
You would think I would know it off rip.
Yeah, I would expect you to know. This is your day one buy. This ain't my day one buy. This is your day one buy. This one of your
the
top
19th.
five.
The 19th. Yep.
Okay, so hey, more.
I was like,
to
it's
it.
this month. How did I forget?
It's day one in the service. Are you still thinking about going the higher tier, man? Cashing it in. Jim Ryan gonna cash in on you. You gonna do it for Stray, or you gonna?
So here's why I might. I'm gonna be honest. Here's why it's not that it's for Stray. It's because I really want the game Stray, right?
Okay.
And I think like it's gonna be like
all your years of stacked up
like
Stray.
it's on 70, and I think does it cost me 70 to like round up? Like I think it costs the same amount to round up, so I might like to level up. I might as well just level up.
But I don't know if Stray is full price. I don't think it's 70. I don't think that was 70.
Oh, if it's not 70, then
nah, Stray isn't 70. But all I know is it's supposed to be day one in the higher tiers. So it's like, would you cash in your stacks for that higher tier for the Stray, or are you gonna pay for it day one? So.
It depends on how the price is. If the prices are close enough, bro, I might cash in.
I think Stray is in the. I have to find that out. I'm pretty sure it's 40. I think they want it's either 40 or 50. I don't think it's the full 70 though, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you know what? Actually, no, because it's. Oh, wait, is it only for the premium or is it for the extra tier?
I believe extra and premium, because I think the biggest thing for premium. Let's look that up, because you already know somebody somewhere is somebody's gonna have an issue if you say something wrong. We already know how that goes. But
it was extra and premium. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because the premium is more for everything PS Now, the streaming stuff. So yeah man.
So here's the thing.
Gotta cash in.
Extra only cost me $70 to upgrade to it for the rest of my stuff. But, and if Stray is gonna be 60 or $70, you might as well get it with everything else. You know what I'm saying?
But is it like each year? Because you know how they have? I think there's a tab on there where you get to see what your conversion would be. Did you look for yours?
Yes. So I actually have it open right now, and it's telling me for the remainder of pretty much my 2 years that I have of PlayStation Plus, it's gonna cost 70 to get to the extra tier, and it's gonna cost 106 if I want to be at the premium tier for the remainder, and then it jumps to its normal price after.
Whew. Do it for the cat, huh?
I might do it for the cat.
Do it for the cat.
I might do
Ignore
it
the
for the
real
cat.
one and just do it for the game version. Okay.
I can't ignore the real. I want to ignore the real one sometimes, but this
Hey,
cat,
they about
he
to get the
wild.
people.
Look, man.
But you know what? It's also what if have you considered the Steam version? Because that was the thing. It was number one on Steam. So you considered the Steam
Also,
version, or would you still
I
try to
want.
do it under PlayStation?
I'd still probably try to do it on the PlayStation.
Okay. Hey,
Unless just
straight
like,
got people, man. They got people hooked. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
it looks so good. I don't care. It looked great.
All right. Well, now we can jump into the low. Yeah, that was the high. So here's the low. So we got the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh has passed away. What is his name exactly? You could pronounce that for me.
Yes, I can. Kazuki Takahashi.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. A lot of
He's
memories with Yu-Gi-Oh. I know for
so
me,
ball.
it was more like when I was more of a kid. I think gaming wise, I had a Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh game. I think it was called World Tournament. I think it was World Tournament. It was like right before they introduced the Egyptian god cards on the show, so it wasn't in the game. But there's been plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh games over the years and plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff. And so,
Yeah.
are you big into
So
the lore?
yeah, I used to
Okay.
watch the show. I played a couple of the regular Yu-Gi-Oh games. I played the Yu-Gi-Oh GX Tag Tournament game, and then I
Okay.
played all the 5Ds ones that were on 3DS and DS. And then I have the Legacy Edition of the like one that just encompasses all of Yu-Gi-Oh on Switch. Uh, and then of course I played in person, like growing up, with friends and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And then uh, for my job where I work with some kids and everything, I was able to like uh, they super enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh and everything. So like I was able to work with them and like uh, we were able to bond over that. So it was cool. It was like I got to play it as a kid, and then like see the next generation play it. Like Yu-Gi-Oh brought a lot of joy. So yeah, I always appreciate this guy for bringing that.
There was a brief moment where I remember I did collect the cards for like a really split second, and then I just
Oh,
sort of stopped. Like it just, like I remember completely remembering like, okay, you told yourself you're not gonna do the Pokemon, so why you gonna do this? And I kind of just stopped. But I was into the show up until they had the tournament with the Egyptian god cards, and then I kind of just let it go because it was kind of just losing my interest. And then I still have certain memories about how it was quote unquote banned from me being
oh
like
yeah.
because it's too quote unquote demonic, whatever. I didn't care. I moved on to something like wrestling at that point. That was my fandom. But I had to deal every time Yu-Gi-Oh had a leg up in the media or something. It was like, here's this
Uh,
thing where you gotta have this meeting about it. I'm like, oh my god, I don't care. But
so here's what my mom saw. Like I would be outside with friends
yeah,
playing this game and doing math in my head. So she's like
yeah,
walking outside and hearing me go like, ah, you just took this much damage. Your life points is now this, and like I'm just
yeah.
like doing like quick addition and subtraction in my head. And so all she saw was like, ooh, education. Like so she was able to just be like, look, he's not out here trying to be a demon. He's fine. Like he's learning math. He's good. He's interacting with others. Uh, and it
I
was
just
like out of all
remember,
like waste my money on, it was
yeah.
on like cards over some junk food, you know. So
I just remember the whole like they had to sacrifice one to bring out another. That was such a key term of an absolute no no in that world.
yeah,
But yeah, R.I.P. to the creator. Fond memories. Everybody's got a good memory, and Yu-Gi-Oh is gonna keep living. It's gonna live on forever, I guess. Lollipop remake, man. What you got to say about it?
so Lollipop Chainsaw is getting apparently a remake. The two original writers, the studio and James Gunn, who I just found out was an original writer for it, or didn't know about this remake happening. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
But some other studio has it, and they're going to be doing a remake coming out next year. And I think it is already like 2-3 years too late for a Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, all right, so you got your Goofy, for those that don't know the game somehow. Well, I mean, it's an older game. But like you were a cheerleader when a zombie outbreak happens.
Yeah.
So now you're the cheerleader girl with a chainsaw mowing down zombies. The cosplayer Jessica Negri, I believe it is. She got pretty much popular off of this game because she was like the cosplay mascot like for the game. So all the conventions that promoted it, she was paid officially to like be there and cosplay as the main character. Uh, it looks good. It's just like I'm excited to like replay it. It's just I feel like this would have capitalized heavily with like a Harley Quinn skin. So like if they were able to put in like a cosmetic thing so you look like Harley Quinn, so now you're Harley Quinn mowing down zombies with a chainsaw, being all goofy, and it came out right with like last year with the Suicide Squad, or like the 2 or 3 years ago with Birds of Prey, or even before that with the first Suicide Squad, and capitalize on all of the Harley Quinn hype. I think the game would fare way better. But as it is now, I feel like there's too many other zombie options to really go for that one.
They probably also don't want to pay over them type of royalties for having that name. You know.
Yeah, true. True.
And then on their end, they'll say that we have Suicide Squad as far as like that game. Harley so.
Yeah, but my thing is, so I thought where they could get the skin was because James Gunn just did the Suicide Squad. He's working with DC on some stuff, and he originally helped write this. Like he did Suicide Squad, he did Peacemaker. He's working on something else, and because he had originally wrote for that, he might have been able the person to go be the person to like, hey, let me put this skin in the game, and Warner Bros. Would be like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the way I looked at it, I was just saying like you might see some issue with people talking about how the girls dressed, because that's a thing in today's world. And I remember you remember that PlayStation game that people immediately thought was Bayonetta 3, and then it ended up kind of looking better than the original Bayonetta 3 or whatever when they announced it. But like there was like I forgot what it was called, but there was this whole thing about how some people were upset with how her outfit was just because it was like tight clothing similar to Bayonetta. And they was like, oh, it's outdated. That's not how we want them to look now, and blah, blah, blah. And so that progressive crowd might come at her like that. It would be a funny story. Yeah. Maybe we'll say like you hear it here, but
I think a good way to put it, right, in like nice terms, is that it might come off as outdated as Duke Nukem Forever. Like when they finally released the next Duke Nukem, and it was like pure, like late 90s bro, like humor that just completely came off as outdated instead of nostalgic. There is a fear that this could go that way.
I know, I think it was Street Fighter 6, they sort of future-proofed themselves a little bit. And what I mean by that was like they put the pants on old girl. I think we talked about that for a second too. Yeah. And people was mad, like the real fans was mad, but they kind of did it so that like as a progressive move, like no, she got to be covered up. And I think there was an issue in Mass Effect 3, right? Or which Mass Effect was it where they was like, we're not going to show the camera next to her butt?
Like, it was Mass Effect Remaster, where like every time like it was a girl in the scene and then Shepard was walking into the scene, the camera would be at a low angle looking up, so it was just butt and Shepard. They fixed that.
Yeah, they changed it, and some people had issues with it or whatever. So I think that crowd is gonna come for this game. That's what I think. I think they're gonna come for this, but it won't be fair. But
either way, either they avoid that part and people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's another game they like tamed and ruined," or they're gonna leave it alone and everybody's gonna call it outdated thinking.
We'll see.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy the game.
Enjoy it. So you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
Probably. I don't know if it's a day. It's definitely not a day one buy. Okay. But yeah, I just remember the original one, and I didn't own it. A friend did, so I remember playing it only a little bit.
Okay.
And I just remember like it's just ignore the fellas. Yes, it was a little boy. It was like a cute cheerleader girl, but like past that, from just the gameplay itself, it's like you got this massive chainsaw and you're just mowing down zombies where every other zombie game was shoot, shoot, shoot. And this one, you're like getting up close and just like cutting everything. So it was like chaotically fun. So I imagine the game like with this remake, with the updated like controls and graphics and like how smooth the game could run, it's still gonna be very chaotically fun.
Yeah. I was just gonna say real quick, you see this footage, I was about to quit and I was like, nah, I'm going for that. I'm still gonna go for it. As long as I've been standing here. But yeah, I'll look forward to it when I see like the gameplay and stuff to see how it is. I would like for it to be at the very least, if it's a zombie game, better than Zombie Army 4. If it's better than Zombie Army 4, then it has my attention because I still had some fun with Zombie Army 4, but it had its hiccups here and there with how they did things. So if it's better than that, they have my attention. So yeah, and I guess we can keep going. That was cool though. I think we are at the very end. So there's one more topic that I have here. Actually, no, real quick, mention what you want to mention for Fortnite, and then we'll go to the last topic.
So I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite. Okay. But it's also because like I said before, and I'm always gonna be transparent about it. I am horrible at PvP first person shooters. So like it's just not my style of game because I am just going to lose. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. So forgive me if I'm
probably.
But I remember I played
Fortnite going against kids. You ain't really. I mean,
kind of. Some of them. No, I've seen adults because I have adult friends that like play it heavy. But
okay.
I've played Fortnite twice, and not like 2 rounds, but like I've only played like we played a bunch of games back to back, but I've only played it like on 2 separate day occasions. And one of the times I played, out of the 100, I made it to 23 before dying, and it was just because I didn't run into anybody until that point. So like I had accidentally launched off on the map far away from everyone else. So everybody was shooting. I'm just like roaming around. Finally come across a person, instantly died. Like, and I made it to 23rd place because I just didn't run into people. If I would have stayed hidden, I probably could have made it farther. So I'm not great with Fortnite, but they've been doing a lot of crossover stuff. Whether you're a fan of it, like some of them have been really cool, or if you're not a fan, like I saw some of the Superman gameplay, and it's just weird seeing Superman shoot a gun. But
man, did you see how they did Kratos? Kratos looked like a little kid. Almost.
Yep.
He was like an extra cartoon.
So yeah, not a fan of all the crossovers. Some people are. Well, they might be doing Dragon Ball Z next. That's the leak that's come out for the game files. That Goku might be in the game with a gun, shooting people instead of using Kamehameha Blast. But
here's my thing about it, bro. What? I ain't got no problem with Fortnite for one reason, and that's basically Fortnite is making so much money for them there that they're able to give away those games for free on Epic every week. And as long as that's a thing, and I'm able to get free games where I'm able to play stuff that I like, y'all go out there and play everything. Go play it. Give them all your money, because you paying for the games that I like to play, as well as new games that I get to try out, and I ain't got to pay nothing. I ain't paid nothing. Like, I barely bought anything on Epic overall. Like, I bought a couple things whenever they gave you those little coupon things, but for the most part, it's saying my library I had like over 100 games, because they would give out like a bunch of games. I remember they was doing like the whole like a game a day kind of thing too.
For Christmas, yes.
Hey, I just finally made it. You see this footage? I finally did it. Ooh, I remember this part. I was heated because I got the crates, but because I got the crates, I couldn't get the diamond. And this is where I was back. I basically quit at this point. We had to end this footage. I was like, you know what, dog? If it ain't one thing, it's another. It's like, yeah, but
you're supposed to revisit levels. That's the point. Is take a note and come back later and get it.
But I'm like, man, I'm out of here. I was done. I was done. Like, man, and I still missed like 50 or 30 crates, man. Yeah. So, well, Fortnite, yeah, let them do whatever they want. We still get money, or we still get games. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Now, this story is probably crazy. There's everything that's been happening with them is crazy because either he's canceled or he's not canceled. I don't know, because he was supposed to be canceled, and then next thing you know, he's a viraling meme, and we forgot everything. And it's like they doubled down on the other side. It's like, no, we're gonna get you up out of here. So Vince McMahon, we're getting more news about Vince McMahon, and it's like, what's going on with this man? What's going on with Vince?
Oh,
can you tell us?
As we know, he's used company funds as hush money for some extracurriculars with some people in the past. And now he's being investigated. Well, it was just reported that number is now gone up to like 12. Was it 12 million, 12 billion? Which I know is a big difference, but basically probably whatever it was before, where it was like 4 million, now it's 12 million. And it was like 12 or 16, and then now there's 4 people that he has paid off over time, hush money, for his extracurriculars. So they're just investigating him, and it turns out he's using them company monies for that. So here's my question to you. Imagine, and I think you know where I'm going to go with this. Okay. Imagine being a wrestler, finally making it to the WWE, your dream, to get a contract, and then get cut and is cited for budget reasons, only to find out is your salary going to Vince McMahon so he can go up to these women and say, what's up? How are you feeling about that?
So the first thing came to my mind that I can't really say is basically N-word ain't S. I'll just say that. That's what I wanted to say, but I can't really say that. And I'm a good person. I'm such an angel. So okay. Yes, it's like, listen, Vince McMahon been a bad person. I believe all of this. Vince McMahon, we already know about the story of Vince giving money to like cover up for Superfly Jimmy Snuka or everything, which is supposed to be alleged. Everything's quote unquote alleged with him. Everything. This is still a company where I think they invented the word backstage politics. It's like that comes from the company. It's like when you hear all those little dirty stories, everything about what's going on in the world of wrestling is usually like this wrestler's holding back this one, this wrestler buries this one. It's like that happens on the Vince McMahon side too. This was a guy who intentionally tried to destroy WCW after purchasing it instead of like using it as a valuable asset. It's like he kept a couple people here and there, but it was definitely to make it look lesser than. And the pettiness of that for years, it was just petty. So I can imagine like this not being too far off, you know, people coming forward and everything.
He has spent more money on his extracurriculars than he did purchasing WCW.
Yeah, that's what happens when like these rich people, man. They think they above the law and they can pay their way out of anything. And I believe that's probably what he was doing.
What I don't get is use your own money. Like, why are you specifically using company funds? Like, you get your own paycheck. Just let it come out of your paycheck. Like, that is not an issue anymore. But like the fact that they're investigated because it's coming from the company money.
In Vince McMahon's head, in his eyes, the company money is his money. That's the thing.
True, but
he don't understand that.
Giving himself 12 billion raise and then do that. Like,
to Vince McMahon, everything WWE stops with him. Like, it kind of does, but at the same time, it's like that's got to go to his head a little bit. I remember him sitting there. Like, I remember he had the interview with Stone Cold, and Stone Cold had his earpiece on, and I guess Kevin Dunn was in his ear, and he was like, "You got 30 seconds left or something," and they were about to go off air, and I remember Vince was just like, "No, we don't. We gonna go longer. We gonna keep this going another couple 30 more minutes. I own this network or whatever. We gonna go. I don't care what y'all have plans set up to go on the network." And then that thing went longer, and they just had to figure it out afterwards. And it was just like that's kind of where he's at with things. I mean, we've seen it with. It's been countless times where it's like, why is the championship on this person, or why didn't this person go over, or why was the match looking like that? It's like these are Vince moves. It's like he is the one who like everything stops with him. So any dirt
he didn't
behind the scenes is the same way.
He didn't like Zack Ryder getting over online. He didn't like the Rusev Day thing getting over. That everybody chanted. He didn't come up with it. He didn't like it. He said it's a joke. They don't actually like you, and refused to push it. He punished somebody for getting over. He's like, no, they were supposed to not like you for this. I don't like that they like you, so we're just not going to use you because we need that to die down. And it's just like, it's free advertising. It's like, no, it wasn't my idea, so no.
Yeah. So I believe those stories. I remember. So that's the thing. It's not just him doing things. I remember there was the story of Stephanie McMahon at one point being investigated because she had pulled her money out of the stocks before the stocks dropped that one year. Like when Vince lost like 300 million or something, they wanted to investigate her because I think she pulled it out like days or weeks before. I forgot. It was something like that though. And so this is kind of a thing that they do. This is their thing. Shout out to Martha Stewart. I just thought of her too. It's like this is their thing. But Vince is a person where he's had plenty of moments of being like the worst person alive. Like he's had those moments, man, over the years, and I don't think he cares at the end of the day. I think because he's at the moment where, like, he's at the tail end of his thing. You know, he didn't live his life exactly the way he wanted to live. The only difference is that, like, maybe at one point he wanted to own XFL, or maybe he wanted to own like a like weightlifting competition type thing at one point. But even with XFL not working for him, it's like he still has wrestling where everything else trickles down from him, you know, because all the other wrestling shows is trying to be an alternative to WWE. You don't hear about anybody saying we're an alternative to like Impact, or we're an alternative to ROH, or alternative to like AEW, you know. They always want to be the alternative to WWE. It's like WWE is the top, like, most recognized name in wrestling. It's like you got to admit that no matter how you feel, no matter what kind of fan you try to be. But yeah, like when it comes to just Vince McMahon, like any bad story, I could believe it because he's still covered for Snuka when it came to the murder thing, and then they had to try to investigate something years later, and he just kind of died in the middle of the process. So it was like, there's that. And so, like that's not. It comes off like the same kind of character. It's the same kind of character. And he was at one point doing whatever he needed to do to like get WCW up out of there. Like he basically sold his soul to get WCW up out of there. So anything else happening around that time or before that time, I believe it. I definitely believe it. It's just crazy because it's like this is how you get him out of there. It's cancel culture. But the real question is he gonna actually be canceled this time? Because they seemed like they tried to cancel him, and then immediately the internet forgot because of something funny. Right, like we kind of just forgot, like immediately, and then it was like quiet for a second. It was just like we're just moving on to the next thing. wrestling is still happening, and he was bold. My man just got up and went on actual television. You know what I'm saying? Like he was bold. Like this is Vince.
There's actually a running joke when people said they wanted him to come out each week and just make some silly announcement and then leave.
Yeah, like my man, you would think because there's been plenty of years where I think he wanted to just only be behind the scenes and he didn't want to come outside or nothing. And I think there was a moment where it was his birthday and Triple H and Stephanie sung "Happy Birthday" in the ring, and then they made the joke like he's probably in the back furious. You know, like there was that moment where he didn't come on stage. It was like after this, he boldly going out there like, yeah, what?
Yep.
And it's like he knew that was the only thing people gonna be thinking about, but he flipped it for ratings. He flipped it for ratings.
As soon as it was announced, it was like Vince McMahon's gonna be on SmackDown. He just came out and was like, "Hey, you heard some stuff. We have a great show for you tonight. Like, get ready,
bro." Like, what? That tells you his character. He ain't go quiet and mention a statement or something and act all apologetic or go on any type of. You remember how like when people get in trouble, they go on these like random charity event tours and stuff. It's like, no, he flipped it for his business. Like, you want to see what happened? Watch my show. That's what he did. That's what he did. And went out there. He wrote himself in the show. And you hear about how like he'll cut, like he'll rip up the papers and stuff of what they have planned or whatever. I bet you he ain't rip up that part. They probably didn't even have that in there. He's like, no, I'm going out there. I'm going out there. Like, Vince is not afraid of any of this. He does not care. Because at the end of the day, what will happen is he'll just retire out with his money and just go quiet. It's no different than Bobby Kotick and Activision. It's like Bobby Kotick is set to get the payday, and then he just kind of just retires out with the payday. So he doesn't lose. He can't lose. He really can't. He'll lose like his reputation at the end of the day, but people still gonna just remember him overall just for the wrestling. They're not gonna remember that part. R. Kelly is probably gonna get remembered for his more than Vince. Yeah. Yeah, but that dude is bold, man. That dude is extra bold. Like, he is extra bold for that. Like, he is bold. Like, it was crazy too, because when the meme part happened, I remember thinking like, yo, it's crazy how people just like let his stuff go, because they kind of just let it go for a minute.
Let's be honest. Part of it is because nobody read this and went, what? They just read it as like, oh yeah, about time they caught it, I'm sure.
Yeah. People like let it go sometimes. They'll forget about it in a way. But yeah. So we'll see. Now if you go out there and do another meme moment and everybody forget about it again, well, it's like shame on them then. Cause the meme moments and the entertainment stuff is more like it reminds me of the YouTuber. I'm not gonna say his name. I don't want to say it publicly, but the one that keeps trying to jump back on YouTube that got banned like 50 times, and he's just showing up on everybody's platform, who got caught in 4K.
Away.
Like,
go away.
Like, okay, so the dude who got caught in 4K, like the thing is, every time he does come back, the YouTubers make a video, and he still gets more subscribers and a following. So in the real world, even though it's controversial to say, people are more into the entertainment aspect of it than they are into the morals and the right and wrong. That's why Vince went viral like immediately, and then went out there and like had fun with his stuff, and that was getting spread around despite everything people were saying. His step thing was getting spread around. Now I admit I used it for the thumbnail of the video because it happened like immediately the next day or something that time. And I was trying to get clicks. Yeah, maybe I'm just as bad for trying to get clicks, but hey, like, it actually didn't get clicks either. That's the funny part. It didn't go nowhere. But is he gonna be canceled? Are we really gonna cancel him this time, or are we gonna forget about it? Is he still gonna be in wrestling? He's still gonna be there to the day he croaks, I guess, because he don't seem like he want to leave at all. He is in that spot. He is ticking. So
yeah, for the things that are being presented, he's not gonna be canceled. Like what he did is just mean to his wife. Like that's where we're at right now. So mean to his wife and mean to the company. So
all I know is he was just bold. He was bold. But is it a thing that he might go to jail for, or is it just he might have to be forced to step down? Because if he's just forced to step down, I don't think he cares at all. If somehow they find a way to get him to go to jail, I think he gonna pull a card. He gonna contact somebody and figure this out. Like Vince been in the game for a while. He got partners. He got connect. I don't see him just like the YouTuber got caught in 4K. He had no connect. He's desperate. Vince, on the other hand, remember Vince put the former president in the Hall of Fame. Like he had the president. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He helped the president get famous early on. The president was Vince at WrestleMania. So
Vince might step down, or because I don't think is it really stealing company funds if you own the company? Like,
bro, I'm telling you, in his eyes, like the company money and his money is the same. I'm so serious. That's how he thinks. It is one and the same when it comes to Vince. So
he would have to step down or risk losing shareholders and like endorsements and and stuff like that. That might be the biggest punishment.
This would be the rarest case of somebody having to step down from the company and then somehow ending up back in the company in the same spot. Like this would be something that would happen with Vince. It's like everybody else would step down and leave. It's like we've heard of so many people, like the game president, not president, but somebody that was over one of the gaming companies had a strong. I guess they were pro-life. You remember that story? And then they said something about it, and then they were like basically having to step down like almost immediately because they mentioned they was pro-life on YouTube, or not YouTube, but it was on Twitter, and then everybody jumped on them. That was like that person is also not as big as Vince McMahon either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like some of these other people who had to step down when they went against the grain. It's like you guys ought to understand, y'all not as big as Vince. It's like it's one of those things where remember when they said Dave Chappelle was like punching down on a community? It's like Vince McMahon would be the one that punches down on a certain community. That's where Vince is at. Because all the money he has and the backing he has, the partners he probably has behind the scenes. It's like you could try to cancel him, but for him to show up on his own show bold like that quick, because he's straight up like the most that I saw was that people had like mad reactions. It's like mad reactions ain't gonna do nothing when you talking about a guy going on national television. Like he came out. Was it John Cena that he was introducing? I'm surprised John Cena didn't try to protect himself a little bit. Like I don't want you to introduce me or something, you know. But it didn't matter. The show went on and they did what they had to do. Yeah,
it was gonna be.
He gonna go back out there again. He gonna go back out there again. He gonna. 100%. Matter of fact, he might put himself on TV more often too. He might just do it, just because that's the kind of person he is. It's like, yo, the best thing he can do is quietly step down or something for PR reasons. He do not care about that. He is from a whole nother era. Like he is from the era where everybody was disrespectful and everything, the Attitude Era. He is not from the PC era. The PC era was for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He's from the era where his wrestlers took all the supplements in the locker room that they were not prescribed for so that they could all look like Hulk Hogan. Like, that's the era he from. So if he knew they was doing that and, you had, wrestlers and stuff executing their family and all that stuff, is like, yo, Vince done seen it all. Vince done seen it all. He is not, this ain't gonna phase him. So I don't know. Now the people can stop watching. That's on them. It's like even that's like the main thing people used to threaten with wrestling. Like, oh, I'm just stop watching. So I don't even think that's gonna phase them, because people have been threatening to not watch for years. That ain't gonna phase them either. So I don't know. But is he canceled? Maybe. Maybe we'll see. It is, the first try didn't work. I don't know. Maybe it might work now. It's just like, but people have to take those type of situations serious and not focus on the memes so much. The memes is what, like, that shouldn't distract you from the bigger issue.
Right.
Um, I don't know too much of the story. I don't know all the details. I don't know who the other people are. I don't. I don't know if it would it matter. It don't seem like it matters to the memers. It should maybe, but
It should, but it don't.
we'll see. It's Vince McMahon. I don't know. Anything else you want to say? Because I think we got it all.
Nah.
That's crazy. That's how we gonna end it. But I think we had a very good show. Very productive. It still went the full time. It actually went the longest. I think we're going the longest now. But usually it was like 2 hours is the mark. For anybody who made it this far, you are fantastic. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
But if you made it this far, just know we are aiming for it to be exactly 2 hours. Obviously, it'll go over a couple of minutes, but we're pushing 2.5. So,
wow.
Yes. So we will catch you next week. Any last words, sir?
Yeah, man. Doesn't need to be a war. Just go out and enjoy all the games, all of them.
Yeah, and before you enjoy the games, don't forget to wash the back of your ears. And we are out. Peace.